There we go. Sometimes I click the right things, sometimes I don't. All right. See here. We have a beer to review. I'm going to be reviewing a bunch of beers tonight. Starting off, we're going to be doing, and these are all from Tatamagouche Brewing, by the way. So we're going to start off the night with the Dusk Schwarzbier, however you want to say it. 4.9% alcohol by volume, so German European dark lager, basically Schwarzbier. Um, you had the Czech dark lager from Stillwell Brewing in my previous review, so be doing a little bit of contrast and compare here. So let's see if we have anything in the actual website first before we get into the review here. So I shouldn't get ahead of myself here. Share the screen. Tatamagouche Brewing. Select tab. There we go. They've changed the layout in StreamYard here a little bit, so it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, there we go. Or it's not difficult, but it confused my old brain. All right, so we want to go to beer. Yeah. So let's go down through. They got so much stuff. Here's the Dusk. Okay. So before the onset of night, the world is calm, smooth on the palate, and refreshing with I don't need to know this. Now in a more sessionable 355 milliliter size can, which is cool. Water, malt, hops, yeast, can deposit, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they don't actually give any malts or hops or anything like that, but Tatamagouche is usually pretty good for getting like authentic stuff, ingredients for their beers if they're trying to do like a foreign style of some sort. So I expect like noble-ish hops, probably pilsner malts of some sort, and some like chocolate malts and stuff stuck in here to darken things up. But we'll see how it goes. So we will pour this now. Yeah, she's looking pretty dark. There we go. So one last little look at the can. I kind of like how most of their cans are not particularly special. They're just variations on the same label, just changing the text, and that's it. All right, that was pretty good. Very dark. It actually, I believe, it's a little bit darker than the Stillwell Czech style black lager that I had previously. This looks like straight up black abyss kind of color. Not really getting any light through. All right. And the head's a nice tan color. Let's go to the aroma. Mm. Not super intense. It's very much kind of what you expect. A nice roasty, mild chocolate and slightly coffee-like kind of aroma coming here. Pretty much just all malt all the time coming through. Very true to the style. Kind of like stout light would be kind of the way to put it. Like a really, and a lot of stouts don't necessarily have big noses on them unless they're like barrel aged or something like that, right? But you can get like a good substantial regular strength stout. They'll have like a really good deep rich aroma to it at the same time. And this is kind of, like half that, if you can kind of imagine that in your head. But for what it is, it smells really good. All right, so we're going to go right to the taste. Cheers. Mm, mm. Oh yeah, that's really good. I'm glad I picked up more than just one when I did the order. Mm. All right, so I'd say it's pretty medium bodied. It's actually got like a lot more heft to it than I was expecting. Um, a lot of dark lagers I've had in the past, like European dark lagers, Schwarzbiers, um, generally still pretty light bodied. It's just the flavor profile is different, right? Here, the body seems to have like either like upper light body to like lower medium or just straight up medium kind of body to it. Like it's got it feels substantial. It feels a little bit more heft in the mouth. Um, Goes down smooth, but the flavor in this is really big too. And of course, the difference between this one and the Czech dark lager I did before, um, the flavor profile here is different. It's much more about the roastiness. It's much more simple and dialed back in the sense that it doesn't have as much complexity to it that the Czech one did. The Czech one had like some different notes of like nuts and some chocolatey notes and some caramel notes and things like that. This is very much more reduced down to roastiness, maltiness, maybe a hint of like baker's chocolate kind of thing, but nothing too extremely complex or anything like that. Like just like a very kind of a one note beer, really, in a sense, but just a really great note at the same time. There's nothing wrong with a one note beer if it has a really great one note. Just like the Ramones basically only had three chords, but they were three great chords that they made a bunch of great albums off of. So um, that can transfer into other mediums and other genres, of course. That concept can. Mm. But yeah, it just finishes with a good roastiness, and it's not a super intense one. It's a refreshing one. Um, it's got a good bitterness in the finish. It dries out a little bit. I'm assuming there's probably some sort of like noble hop thing going on here. Um, of course, most of like any sort of like spiciness or anything like that you would get out of one of the noble hops um, is going to be kind of drowned out by just the roastiness of the actual malt character itself, and that seems to ring true here. But it's just honestly this again, it's only kind of one note, but the flavor intensity here is actually a little bit bigger, a little bit richer than a lot of stouts I encounter these days, like full strength stouts. I've had plenty, like in recent years, that have been kind of weak sauce compared to this. And I think all it has to do with is they're doing this very authentically or as authentically as possible, true to style. So you're going to get a nice flavorful lager that's still very simple. And of course, definitely on the other side of the spectrum from other European lagers. Instead of the going towards grassy sweetness with noble hop spiciness and things like that, you're going straight to just dark malt, roasted malt. And it works. It's a perfect example of the style. Um, as far as hitting all the notes, I think I've probably had a couple of dark lagers that have been slightly better than this, actual Schwarzbiers. But this is up there. It's one of the better ones. And of course, I always kind of want to leave room for improvement on the style score. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 for style. I think that's pretty fair. We have an interloper here saying, "You're a lager." What type of lager am I? Am I spicy European lager, or am I just like a bland, watery North American lager? I'll leave that up to you. So yeah, like 8.5 for style. Personal preference, I like it a lot. Um, like I said, it's one of the better ones I've had of this style. I would drink this again all the time if I could get it all the time. If this is available in my NSLC, I would grab it all the time. Uh, and she says, "Well, since you are Canadian, so you're saying I'm like Molson Canadian, is what you're saying? All right, you can get the fuck out of my chat, woman. All right. Um, but yeah, anyways, as I was saying, since this is one of the better examples of the style I've had, I'm going to give it a solid 9 for personal preference. I would definitely drink this all the time." And she says, "Yes, yeah." Mm-hmm. So yeah, 8.5 for style, 9 for personal preference. Dusk Schwarzbier from Tatamagouche Brewing Company. It's excellent. If you can get it, grab it. Order it online. They ship anywhere in Canada, as far as I know. So it's worth trying out. And now she's laughing at me. I'm used to you mocking me and laughing at me. I'm a gentle soul, a sensitive soul, and you just love to torment me. So, yeah. Hope you feel like a bigger person because you're a very small person in real life. Okay. I'm going to be back very soon with the next review. And I've got like I got like 3 other reviews to do as well. Okay. All right. That shows I got one on. I got one on. I scored 1 point at least. I got one on over on her. Jesus, I can't fucking talk. My brain doesn't work anymore. All right, guys. We'll be back in a little while. Goodbye.